trauma and pain, you wouldn't go and address it straight away. You wouldn't go in and say, oh, I understand that Mummy forgot to feed you sometimes, that must be terrible. You know, we wouldn't do that. So it's really like, how can I give a picture that she will resonate, that word resonate, that she can resonate with and think somebody understands me. So the story is about a little puppy, very, very sweet little puppy. This puppy was so beautiful, big brown eyes, little pink nose, soft silky ears. And this little puppy was born to her mother with her brother. She had a brother there. But she lived on a farm, and the farm was very, very noisy. There was always noise going on, banging and barking and noise of all the other animals. Sometimes it was very, very hard for the little puppy to sleep. She would try to curl up with her mother, but sometimes her mother didn't want her to curl up with her. So she would curl up with her brother, and they would sleep together. And there was a farmer who looked after the farm. And sometimes the farmer would give them food, but sometimes he forgot. He didn't leave any food out for the puppy and her little brother, so they went hungry. And sometimes they would go to sleep at night with a hungry, hungry, hungry belly and had nothing to eat. Sometimes when she'd been playing with her brother, they came back to where their mother was sleeping and she wasn't there. They didn't know where she'd gone. But they had each other. So they would curl up, they would play together and curl up together. One day she started to grow up. Our little puppy started to explore a bit more. She started to leave the barn where she had been living, and she went outside to the farm. And she was sniffing everything and looking at everything. She was so curious to find out what was going on around her. And as she went further and further away from the farm, she suddenly came near a great big dog on a chain. And the dog barked really loudly at her. And she was so frightened. She ran and ran and ran as fast as she could back to the barn. But as she was running back to the barn, she trod on something sharp. Ow! It hurt her paw. She got back to the barn. A little piece of glass had got stuck in her paw. Oh, it hurt so much. And when she got back to the barn, she looked for her mother, but her mother wasn't there. So she sat in her little bed and she licked her paw, hoping the pain would go away. Well, time passed and the pain did start to go away. And soon there wasn't even a scar where she had trodden on the glass. But when she got up to play with her brother, sometimes when she was running, it hurt. There was still a pain. It was as if a little bit of the glass was still inside her paw. Well, time went by and she became a bigger puppy, still with the same silky ears and little pink nose. But it was time for them to leave the farm. They had to leave. And kind owner came and gave a home to her and her brother. And they were taken away from the farm. But they had to leave their mummy and daddy behind, because their mummy and daddy were still needed on the farm. They were farm dogs. They had other things that they needed to do. And our little puppy, she was sad to leave the farm. But she was also excited about another world that lived outside of the farm. She was taken to a new home. In this new home, she had a new bed. And she didn't have to curl up with her brother anymore. She had her own little bed. And every day she had food. She didn't remember every day having food. This was a nice place. And she used to get taken to the park where all the other dogs were. And she loved to play in the park, and she loved to run around and chase the other dogs. And when she saw them, she so wanted to play, and she would run and run and run, but ouch! That little pain in her paw. It hurt so much. Whenever she wanted to play, she would be reminded of what had happened to her paw. But there was one dog in the park. It was a much older dog. It was a very kind dog. And the older dog seemed to know that she found it difficult to play. And the other dog went to one side under some trees and just lay down. And she looked at the little puppy as if to say, "Come." So the little puppy went and lay down next to the bigger dog. And the bigger dog started to lick her paw where it still hurt. And she licked and licked it, and the little puppy curled up against the tummy of the bigger dog and there she would stay and watch her brother and the other puppies playing. Well, time went by and she would meet her friendly dog at the park many, many times, many days, and they would always sit together and curl up in the sun together and be together. Until one day she went off to play and her paw didn't hurt so much anymore. She hardly felt it. And each day went by, the pain was less and less and less until there was no pain at all. One day she could play and run and chase a ball like all the other dogs. And the owners were so happy. They started to throw a ball for her because now she could run and pick it up and she would bring it back. And they would say, good girl, and they would throw the ball again and she would catch it and bring it back. And when they went back from the park, she would go back tired and happy that she'd had so much fun. And she would eat a good meal and she would curl up in her little bed and her owner would stroke her head and say, I love you so much, such a good girl. And the little puppy was very happy.